the end of a statewide manhunt led to the alleged death of a vengeful LAPD officer.
OCTA has some changes that may affect the budget of many OCTA residents.
Take a look and see what you would have looked like 3.2 million years ago. Lucy makes her way to the OC. Hello, and welcome to the first Around and About Orange County News of 2013. I'm Lele.
And I'm Alexander Avalos. Welcome to the show, everyone.
A couple's murder in Irvine started one of the largest manhunts Southern California has ever seen. Alejandro Salgado has the story.
The city of Irvine, known as one of the safest cities in the United States, was hit with an unusual crime on February 3rd. The double murder of an Irvine couple who were shot to death in a parking garage at the couple's condominium on the 1200 block of Scholarship.
Our community lost a wonderful young couple that was preparing to get married soon. Keith Lawrence, a safety officer at USC, and Monica, on a coach at the Cal State Fullerton.
The Irvine PD named Christopher Dorner, a former LAPD officer and Navy reservist, as the main suspect. Dorner implicated himself in an online manifesto. In it, he claimed he was wrongfully dismissed by the LAPD, who accused him of filing a false report. He said he would target and kill LAPD members and their families. One of those officers mentioned in the manifesto is retired LAPD Captain Rondo Kwan, father of the victim, Monica Kwan. He represented Dorner in the board of review hearing that ruled against him and dismissed him. Days after the shooting of Kwan and her fiancé, Dorner graced an officer in Corona and ambushed 2 Riverside police officers, critically injuring one and killing Officer Michael Crane.
This is an act, and make no mistake about it, of domestic terrorism. This is a man who has targeted those that we entrust to protect the public.
In a press conference, the LA mayor announced they are committed to catching Dorner before he can strike again, announcing a reward.
Collectively, this group, led by my office, is posting a reward of $1 million for information that will lead to Mr. Dorner's capture.
A joint task force that included the LAPD, the FBI, and the U.S. Marshals embarked in a massive manhunt. Over 1,000 tips were reported to authorities regarding Dorner's whereabouts and multiple sightings, including San Diego and Big Bear. It is in Big Bear where authorities allegedly engaged in a shootout with Dorner in a cabin that resulted in the injury of one San Bernardino County sheriff and the death of another. Authorities surrounded the cabin, which was eventually engulfed in flames and burned to the ground after SWAT officers threw in incendiary tear gas. A burned body, which has not been ID'd, was found charred inside the rubble. The San Bernardino Sheriff's Department held a press conference announcing the manhunt for Dorner has been called off, although they have not confirmed it is him. It is undetermined how long it will take to ID the body, but new and additional information is set to emerge. Reporting for Around and About Orange County News, Alejandro Salgado.
We'll keep you updated with any new developments in this case. Pope Benedict XVI announced to the world that he will resign from the Roman Catholic Church. Bishop Kevin Van, who presides over the Roman Catholic Diocese of Orange, called the Pope's resignation courageous. The 85-year-old spiritual leader said it was time for him to step down due to his strength and deteriorating health. He is the first pope to resign in over 600 years. New bus fare adjustments were recently approved by the OCTA Board of Directors. Some customers have found the increase difficult to deal with. Leanne Rosales has the story.
OCTA announced new bus fares effective on February 10, 2013. A single ride will now cost $2, a 50-cent increase from the previous fare. A day pass for frequent passengers went from $4 to $5. However, due to their budgets, many students strongly disagree with the new prices.
I think it's harsh because we're students and sometimes we don't have enough money to be paying for the bus transfer. So now since it's $5, it's like a little bit more. And if we just want one ride, like just to go to school, it's $2 each. So if we get like 4 buses, like it's expensive now.
With gas prices escalating as well, students have considered other forms of transportation, such as walking or riding their bicycles. Paying that amount of money has also forced students to limit their spending on other necessities. OCTA authorities say that the agency needs to increase bus fares by 20% in order to maximize sales tax funding. If the 20% recovery is not met, OCTA will be forced to reduce current service levels. OCTA has become aware that some customers will find the new fare difficult. Fortunately, their public outreach developed ways for passengers to save on the new expense. For Around and About Orange County News, I am Leanne Rosales.
To find out ways to save on your bus fare, visit www.octa.net.
Irvine police arrested high school teacher Zachary Reeder on allegations that he lured boys into sending him sexually explicit photos through a fake Facebook profile where he posed as a young female. Reeder was a social science teacher and a walk-on baseball coach throughout his career. His last high school servant released a statement discussing Reeder's dismissal as well as the importance of student safety. The world's most famous fossil, Lucy, is coming to the Bowers Museum, and our reporter Kimberly O'Neill has the story.
To present Ethiopia's national treasure, the Bowers Museum hosted a press release. Diplomats from Ethiopia gathered to thank the museum, honorary guests, and press for coming to welcome Lucy to her first visit to California. The press gathered around as they opened the doors and came in to see the wonders of Ethiopia. The Bowers Museum is hosting a once-in-a-lifetime exhibit that answers the question, where do we come from? Ethiopia is the cradle of mankind, just as Lucy. Lucy is a 3.2 million-year-old hominid found in Ethiopia. 40% of her skeleton is intact and remains the oldest and most complete adult human ancestor fully retrieved from African soil.
So the first milestone event was to stand upright, and with our free hand we started to use tools. It's the beginning of technology in humanity.
Ethiopia refers to Lucy as the ambassador of goodwill, which will help Ethiopia's image throughout the world.
Well, I have the privilege of having worked with Consul General from Texas for Ethiopia, Ghazan Kabedi, who really came up with this idea of trying to convince the government of Ethiopia to let Dinkanesh, Lucy, she's known as Dinkanesh in Amharic, which means the beautiful one. We started negotiating with the government of Ethiopia over a decade ago to convince them to let their national treasure go on tour throughout the United States to serve as an ambassador for people around the world, to really get a sense of how significant Ethiopia was in world history.
I had the opportunity to speak to the president of the Bowers Museum.
I just learned 7 trips to Ethiopia to negotiate for this exhibition before it went to Houston. Once it got to Houston, it traveled to Seattle and New York City. Then it went back into storage, and negotiations started all over for its return to Ethiopia. And there was one more venue allowed, the Bowers Museum.
For more information on this exciting exhibit, visit www.bowers.org. For Around and About Orange County News, I'm Kimberly O'Neill.
After May 12, 2013, Lucy returns to the paleoanthropology laboratories of the National Museum of Ethiopia in Addis Ababa. A recent Anaheim accident involving a drunk driver killed 3 people in Winter Park. 56-year-old Carmen Mendoza was walking with her 21-year-old daughter, Shayla Mendoza, and her niece, Stephanie Enriquez, when they were ran over by a suspected drunk driver, 40-year-old Luis Sanchez. The tragedy occurred on the 100th block of Southwestern Avenue, and Sanchez suffered minor injuries and is currently under arrest for manslaughter.